5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hello and welcome, everyone, to Truth, Beer, and Consequences.
Yay!
Yay, indeed, Julia.
Yay, indeed.
Yay, indeed. This is a podcast where my co-host and I listen to and watch all the Cincinnati-based craft beer media from the previous week. We get together at a podcast host, and today we are back at Higher Gravity Summit Park. Thank you, Higher Gravity, for being such a gracious podcast host. Now, hopefully there aren't too many consequences from the hosts of the other podcasted media. So far in 2024, we're doing just fine.
I mean, Gnome has avoided us for the last few weeks, but I don't know if that's a consequence or if that's just a win.
Right.
Could be either or.
Like he's sticking his tiny gnome middle finger at us. He's like, I'm not coming around.
He's like, nah.
I'm like,
I don't know why I come up here. All it is harassment.
I don't know. There's maybe later there might be some. Who knows?
Exactly.
Today, as we record, is Kolsch night.
It is Kolsch night.
So we're gonna record and then head over to
Northern Row. Gonna go downtown. Like literally, Justin. I'm sure you still listen. Downtown.
Yeah, downtown
is where we will be.
It's gonna be downtown. So that being said, it's kind of just a good coincidence that there are only two pieces of media that we're going to talk about today. However, a couple things. That other voice you heard belongs to the best co-host in Podcastlandia.
I'm Julia. I drink all the craft beer and cider and cocktails in Cincinnati. I'm still working on the cocktail part, Gnome, so don't at me or at me. I don't know. Do whatever you want.
Do it.
And beer competitions and beer in general is biased.
Yeah, okay.
It's all about your likes,
yeah.
and I could go on for a long time about this, but we have a bit of a time crunch here, so I'm not going to. But beer is biased, and there is nothing wrong with that.
And my name's Marco. I'm a taproom manager here locally. I brew beers for several years, so that doesn't, really make me an expert in anything. But I do like Cincinnati craft beer, so we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
The thoughts and opinions on this podcast are ours and ours alone. They do not reflect any entity which we may be affiliated with, such as full-time jobs, part-time jobs, or Higher Gravity. You want to get at us about something? Go ahead. And we will tell you how at the end of the pod. Or read the show notes.
Yes.
And I encourage you to read the show notes because sometimes there's some call to action that may benefit you as the reader, listener.
Absolutely.
So, that being said, Julia, we are the number one craft beer podcast that talks about Cincinnati craft beer podcasts. So, everyone, thank you for helping us to be that number one. No good craft beer podcast would be a good craft beer podcast if we weren't drinking craft beer.
It's true.
We could drink all kinds of other stuff, too, which we have and we will. But today, we do have craft beer.
Well, you have craft beer.
I have craft beer. Well, you have a craft product.
I have a craft beverage, yeah.
Good. So, we're mixing up a little bit. Julia, what you drinking?
From Westside Brewing, it is their mango cider, and it is quite tasty and quite refreshing on this hot as balls day.
Yeah.
How about you?
I also have something from Westside. I have
Good
their
brewery.
CincItalia Pils.
It's a very good beer.
Yeah, confirmed. Good beer.
Excellent.
Yep.
Fantastic. Two pieces of content to talk about this week. Not a whole lot, but as you know, we can end up dragging this out for 3 hours, but we're not going to. We are going to try to be more on it so that we can make it to downtown, wherever downtown may be.
Yeah.
We're not going to go over that again.
It's north of the river.
It is north of the river, yeah. So it's still north?
Yeah.
We're not going to do this again.
No, we're not going to do it.
Both episodes we're going to talk about today were live episodes.
That's great.
That you could also watch after the fact. We have the second live episode of, they're calling themselves Barstool Perspective now, but brought to you by the wonderful folks at Brew Skies Booze News. Mm-hmm. That came out this past Friday. And then we have last night, as we're recording this, a live episode of The Weekly Pint.
TWP.
TWP, yeah, you know me. Yeah, and you. Mm-hmm. And all of us.
Yeah.
Which one do you want to start with?
I want to start with the oldest one first.
The oldest one first? All right. So that means Barstool Perspective. Mike's introduction was insightful and a little bit longer than what Brett anticipated.
It didn't
It's like,
involve
all right.
any glass shards this time.
This time, but it was still just as impactful and just as fantastic. They got into things pretty immediately. Belgian beer printing.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's like the soda stream
Yeah,
of Belgian beer.
or
know
like
what,
that soda machine that that Burger King has.
Oh,
that
the
has-
Coke.
Yeah,
the Coke fountain. Yeah.
where you just
You do, and you can do all kinds of mixes and all kinds of amazing things. So basically, this is very similar to. Is it Willow Creek? It's not a distillery, but the like bourbon bar, the new bourbon bar that's like downtown or something that Gnome's mentioned.
sure we can go with that.
Where you pretty much on a little machine, working with someone, you can decide what flavor profiles, what you want your bourbon to taste like. And it will blend those things to make your custom bourbon. This is like the same thing with these Belgian beers. I want a shit ton of diacetyl in it. Boom, there you go. There's a butter popcorn button. It just squirts it right in there.
a great idea.
And you're good. I mean,
Yeah,
I
it's a
know,
great idea.
that's more like Pilsner, Kolsch-esque, but I mean,
Yeah.
close enough to Belgium, right?
Yeah.
Why not? Let's see.
You can make just a flat out unflavored Berliner,
Oh, yeah.
and then you can
You
just
can get
decide
just
a little.
the Berlin out of it.
You could
Yeah.
just take the Berlin out of it.
Absolutely.
Take my breath away.
And I will say that Dirk is a fantastic name.
It's a pretty good name.
It is a pretty good name.
I was almost named Dax.
Really?
Yeah,
Like, just Dax, or is
or
it short for
Dak
something?
or something like that. Yeah,
Not as cool as Dirk, but that still would have been pretty cool.
yeah.
Instead, you got.
I don't think I
Dirk.
would have lived up to the name Dirk though.
They talked about the difference. Well, Brett really talked about the differences between an FMB and an RTD, because
Yeah.
Mike thought that they were one and the same, and they are not.
They are not.
An FMB is basically a bullshit beer, and an RTD is basically a cocktail,
Yes,
more or less.
more or less. Yeah, you break it down.
You break
Sesame
it down
Street
very
wise.
exactly. I'm making this as succinct as humanly possible. Bob Peace, who is a Peace, basically.
Peace out.
Yeah, peace out. The Brewers
Peace out.
Association has gone away. So basically, ding dong, the witch is dead. Didn't impact me in any way, shape, or form, but I hope that the impact to these small breweries that were part of the Brewers Association see some positive changes with whatever happens from there.
I would have liked for Brett to discuss his Twitter interaction with Bob Peace from a couple of years ago. That would have been hilarious.
Yeah.
Long story short, there was a case of mistaken identity involved, but they didn't go into that, so we won't.
Yeah. But if you are a member of the Brewers Association and if there is a vote for a new president, Mike is willing to do the same job, but do it better and for less salary.
Yeah,
so
less money.
Mike for president.
Let's go.
Let's see. Is the non-alcoholic beer boom over? And are they really better than the alternatives like water or pop or lemonade or tea or whatever else you could drink besides an alcoholic beverage?
I don't think the boom is over. I think we're nearing the arc. I think we're nearing the peak.
Okay. I think that's fair.
Are they better than alternatives, like you said, like
because they're not
water,
low cal, right?
water or soda or iced tea or lemonade?
Do you say soda or pop, or do you kind of bounce between the two? Not to take too much of a rancid rabbit hole here, but
If we're talking about
a carbonated, sugary beverage.
it's a soda.
Coke, Sprite, Pepsi, Mountain Dew, whatever.
It's a soda, and actually that's been a progression in my life.
Okay.
Because growing up where I grew up, everything was called a Coke.
Coke, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Do you want a Coke? Yeah. What kind?
Yeah.
Like,
Alcohol makes you feel good, therefore it is a health benefit. And attached to that,
I can get behind that.
but also don't take medical advice from Brett and Mike.
I can get behind that.
Absolutely. Financial advice, however, they're not completely wrong with the financial or the stock-specific advice that they have been given lately.
They've not been. They've not been bad at it.
Yeah, I would agree. So if you are looking for more stock investment advice from Brett and Mike, Constellation, whose stock code
brands.
is STZ, is the way to go. Maybe.
Maybe.
Again, we are not financial experts. We know nothing about this.
No.
We're just repeating words
No.
that we have heard. That's it. We
That's it.
claim no liability or responsibility for any of that. Brett and Mike may be using Brew Skies money, so for all of their Patreon subscribers and the proceeds from all the profits from the book, buy their book Tanked in Cincinnati if you have not yet. They're going to use that money to do a hostile takeover of Diageo.
Ooh.
It's about to happen, and they think that they have the funds to step in, buy the brand, and how freaking amazing would they make all of the brands under the brand, or under the parent company, whatever you want to say. And they've got something going for them.
Maybe.
And if you keep buying their book, they are getting 1 and 2 steps closer to making that hostile takeover happen.
Yeah. They could finally turn, I don't know, Ciroc into something.
Exactly. Or they could just make it go away.
Probably a better idea.
Might not be the worst idea. Bijou has the biggest brand recognition. I can't read my handwriting. I'm scribbling. In the world.
The world.
Which is hilarious because prior to last week's,
Didn't know it existed.
no one knew it existed.
Didn't know it
well,
existed.
I say no one. I had no idea.
Neither
there
I.
are a couple people that chimed in the live stream, in the chat, that knew about it and have experienced it, but few and far between. So the fact that between Bijou and, was it Corona was the second one?
Corona was the second,
The
yeah.
number value between those, like 80 billion versus like 20, it is a huge number between like first place and second place.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous.
It's not even close.
For a product that, or a brand
They
that
would have to
we've never
triple
heard
in
of.
size to
Yeah.
even get close.
Close, absolutely. And they're still not going to surpass it.
Nope.
Which means, are the Chinese ever sober?
I mean, hey, good on
Holy
you.
shit, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Good on them. Texas has legalized, kind of, home distilling, which brings into a whole potential legal thing with, state legality versus federal legality. And Mike went down something of a legal talk rabbit hole.
Yeah. Oh,
It was
those are
very
fun.
interesting. I thought it was interesting.
Mike Legal Talk Fun.
But also don't take your legal advice from Mike. But he talked about what it could mean for more nationwide changes, because West Virginia, they mentioned a couple episodes ago, has legalized, or we're in the process of legalizing home distilling.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
think
kind
they
of
did
I think they did, yeah. So basically you can home distill in Texas. So Christine, if you make some of something homemade and fresh,
The old
we
corn
will
whiskey.
find a way to get it up here.
The old corn
And
whiskey.
you with it, absolutely. Let's see, what else do we have? Mike doesn't know any of the Kardashians' genders, which is... that whole thing was absolutely amazing. If you caught the little name, I say mishap at the end of, it's not a segment, but at the end of that conversation, that too was pretty freaking funny. So good on them for that.
Good job.
Then
Guys.
they talked about weed news. There is a non-alcoholic bar opening up in Indianapolis that is going to not have anything alcoholic, but they will have THC beverages, THC products. So there is still going to be a level of inebriation happening. It's just a different kind. And Brett and Mike both had very, to me, good takes on would you go, why would you go, and what would they need to also sell in order to stay open, in order to actually be profitable.
Fried chicken and
Skittles
Skittles.
by the handful.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's actually all the notes that I had on this episode of Brew Skies Booze News Barstool Perspectives Live. It was a great episode. It was about 34 minutes long, so nothing too great.
Nice. Like it's not
Right.
gonna, you're not watching Dances with Wolves here, people.
Oh my God, no kidding. Producer Dan was chiming
Never
in.
danced with a wolf.
Never, not once. Although there is a wolf rescue in, is it Indiana or something, to where you can actually go and like pet wolves and stuff. Producer Dan commented kind of back and forth with the live chat here and there, some of the topics that they talked about. One of the big ones was non-alcoholic beer. Asked the few people that were able to join the live stream, do you like NA beer? What do you think about it? So I kind of commented back and forth. Not a lot. I mean, it's at 1:30 Eastern time. on Fridays on YouTube, so a lot of people are at work during that time. But
Yeah.
if you are able to jump onto YouTube for the live, go for it. It's not much different than the recorded episodes, but you get to kind of chat a little bit. I don't want to say with them, but sometimes they do recognize what you are saying back and forth, and you'll get a little like eyebrow raise or a little kind of trying to suppress the laughter if you make an absolutely killer comment.
A banger joke.
Yes. To close out our recap of this, I have not only the sip count,
Oh, good.
but I have a multiple choice question.
Oh, boy.
Which one would you like first, Marcus?
Well, we got to do the sip count.
Sip count first? All right. 34-minute episode. Keep that in mind with these numbers. Mike took a total of 21 sips.
Nice, Mike. Good job, sir.
Brett took a total of 31 sips.
Oh, wow.
And they had 2 unintentional emojis.
So there's 54 counts.
That is, yes, 54 countables, which by a 2-ounce sip if you're playing our game.
108 ounces.
118
Oh, excuse me.
ounces. Yeah, you forgot to carry the
I
one.
forgot
It's
to
all
carry
good.
the one,
It's all
yeah.
good. Which is 7.35 pints in
In
34 35 minutes. Yeah,
Ooh, boy.
that's dangerous.
You need
You're-
a friend for that one.
You're in the danger zone.
Yeah.
Danger zone. Ready for multiple choice?
Oh, yeah.
All right. What Asian brand has Mike never heard of? Is it A, Snowball? Is it B, Snowflake? Or is it C, Snow?
Ah, Julia is a D.
It's been too long.
You know, I bring the D.
Always.
Snowplow.
Oh, God. Kind of fits with
It's
everything
option
else.
D right there.
That is an option D, 100%. Well, we are still good on our beverages because,
Yeah.
again, we are on a schedule today.
Schedule.
So let's move on to the weekly point.
Cheers.
Cheers, cheers. Every time we say the name wrong, we cheers and we
cheers
drink.
and
So
we
I'm
drink.
gonna talk while Marco does his drink. I'm gonna shoo this fly away from my drink, and then I'm gonna take my sip.
That was tasty.
I'll tell you what,
It's good
Westside
and
does
tasty.
a great job with their ciders. Yes, this is very tasty.
They got something going, this whole beer and cider thing.
I think so. I think they're going to
Yeah.
stick around. I think they're going to
I
stick
hope they
around.
do.
What I hope doesn't stick around are these goddamn fruit flies.
Yeah, they're
Little
kind
gnats.
of all over the place.
But I think Nick has a solution. I think
He
producer
might.
Nick may have the key to save the world.
That's why he brought his flip-flops today.
Just whack them.
You whack them.
Yeah, I mean, you can't do that with just any shoe. It's got to be a flip-flop.
It got to be a flip-flop.
100%. All right, the Weekly Pint episode 220. Don't dog my beer choices, dog.
Dog.
Dog. We just got to look. Nick knows by now just to roll his eyes at like absolutely everything we say and do here.
Yeah.
But every now and then something that we say, he's like, I can't.
Yeah.
I absolutely cannot. This was a very long episode. This was an hour and 30-minute show that's not a show.
Oh, yeah.
However, it started fantastically. It started with a brand new countdown logo, and it had a brand new intro, like graphic and video
Yep.
element to it, which
Yep.
I thought were absolutely fantastic.
It's a lot of fun.
So check it out. Check it out. Don't just skip over it if you're watching it after the fact. Watch it because Gnome put a lot of time and effort into making the new branding for the Weekly Pint happen, and it is great. He only streamed to YouTube and Facebook
Right.
because X, aka Twitter, can read between the lines.
Right.
And you can watch this to find out exactly why you can no longer get the Weekly Pint on your Twitter feed or X feed or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah.
I don't know anymore. I don't care anymore. Let's see, what do we got here? I don't have a ton of notes for this episode because almost 50 minutes of this hour and a half was him talking about wieners and the hot dog mix beer pack that he drank during this episode.
Yep.
So I guess we'll talk about the wieners first, the tubular meats,
Yeah.
because there was actually some substance to that topic.
Wiener
I'm making
talk.
really weird hand motions with this, and I don't think I should be.
That's okay.
No one's on
See
the
it on
live
the
stream.
live
It's
stream.
fine. It's fine. So Swine City Brewing has launched their own food program in-house. Not almost famous. Underdog almost famous wieners. So you can get tubular meats to shove into your face while you're enjoying Swine City beer. And I think you made an excellent point in asking if Swine City's wieners are pork
yeah.
or beef.
Yeah. I did ask.
And I feel like it's a bit of a missed opportunity for them. However, I don't know what the popularity between the two are. Like, maybe there was a reason, either cost or maybe they did some little polls in the tap room and more people enjoy one type as opposed to another.
Right.
I don't know, but it sounds like they're delicious. So next time I'm up there, I'm looking forward to shoving some of Swine City's tubular meats into my face.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wiener flights.
Wiener flights?
My God.
Yeah.
How can you go wrong with that? The majority of the episode, as I kind of already alluded to, I flat out said it, was trying the hot dog beers or I guess just calling them hot dog beers. I don't really know what a good way of
it's hot dog and condiment inspired beer.
Yeah, that's much better than what I was saying. There was a hot dog flavored beer, a mustard, a ketchup, a relish, and a chili dog flavored beer.
Right.
Gnome tried all of them. There were lots of sniffs and not as many sips, but still a good number of sips. So our sip count is pretty good.
It's a healthy one?
It is a healthy one.
It's girthy?
It's as girthy as the wieners at Swine City, which I don't know how girthy they are. So take that as you will.
Hoping for girth.
He tried all the beers individually, as you do. He ranked them all individually, like which one is his favorite, least favorite. Which again, there's a bit of a bias there. He doesn't like ketchup, so he's not gonna put ketchup very high, even if it is a good beer, all things considered.
Yeah.
It was surprising his reaction to all of them. We thought that there were going to be a few that heavily swung one way, and he didn't swing that way.
No.
So
Didn't swing that way.
not at all. He then cuvées them, just like having a hot dog and putting all the toppings on it. Because
got to put everything on it.
How can you not? Although I do think that there was a slight miss. He did the same amounts of everything, and I commented a little too late. I said you need a little more hot dog than everything else because that's how you would normally.
You got a fever.
do. Exactly.
And the only
cure is more relish beer.
hot dog. More hot dog.
Yeah. I messed that one up, didn't I? I was thinking cowbell, and I'm like,
Yeah.
cowbell doesn't fit into hot dog beers at all, but why not?
Yeah.
I do. The hot dog and condiment beers are not on tap. They were only available in these mix packs, and I don't know if they have any left. I know Swine City posted that they only had a few of the mix packs left, but depending on the popularity, the demand, maybe once a month, it would be cool for them to have a hot dog flight day to where they have all 5 varieties that you can get in addition to your wiener flight from Almost Famous Wieners.
Yeah.
That could be cool.
Could be cool.
Don't know. They're just starting out with this, so we'll see where they go and how it develops. After he talked a whole bunch about wieners and hot dog beers and condiment beers, he talked about how the U.S. Open Beer Cup championship? Award ceremony, whatever. The awards that were just given out for the U.S. Open.
U.S. Open Beer Cup Award.
Caused some controversy, caused a bit of angst, caused people to say, well, this isn't fair. People paid to have their beer there, which, yes, you pay to enter your beer.
Every beer judging competition,
right, you pay to enter your beer. And, well, they didn't pick the best beer. They picked the beer that they liked, which, yes, that's what these things are. It is all about bias. It is, you have a standard, you have things that you're looking for in a style, but that means that the judges are biased towards tasting those things in that style. And on top of that, their personal taste, like, they're going to come into play whether they realize it or not.
There's also, there are also style guidelines and parameters for each of these style and sub-styles.
Right.
So it's in print what those parameters are, and you can judge, like, if it's judging where you just put in a score and then send it in, or if it's judging, there could be a open table discussion about every beer. I mean, I don't know how they decided to judge, but everybody is judging and commenting based off of style parameters.
But I still think there is also probably, and this is probably purely unintentional just because of how humans work, you have these style guidelines, for, just because I'm drinking it right now, for the category of mango ciders, you need to make sure that you taste mango and maybe a bit of apple. We'll just say that those are the style guidelines that need to be checked for something in the mango cider category. Okay, yeah, I taste mango and yeah, I taste apple, but man, I'm not really a fan of apple. So I taste it, it checks the boxes, but it's still going to get a lower score than this other mango cider that tastes like mango and apple, but less like apple. So it's going to get a higher score from me. It still checks both of those boxes, but my personal bias on those flavors is going to impact where I rank them. And I don't know if there's no way around that. Or I don't think there is anyway. You know what I mean? And again, there's nothing wrong with it. Just because something it wins an award doesn't mean you have to agree with it. If you don't like it, don't drink it. I mean,
I don't understand.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I don't understand why anybody needs to throw any negative comments out on a beer that wins an award. I mean,
right. Just because you don't agree with it,
try it if you want to, buy it if you want.
Sure.
Don't if you don't.
Some people drink beers purely based on award status, and that's fine. That's what they like. That's their bias. That's what they like to do. Some people, it doesn't matter to them. That's fine too. Just drink what you want to drink, and don't, yuck someone's yum because their thoughts and opinions on it are different.
I would say that it would be weird if somebody decided to tout and highlight awards and then decide that they don't take much stock in them.
Yeah.
It's just strange. You can be happy to win an award, and honestly, what it is it's a big pat on the back to the production team, the brew team, and all that. And it's like you try to find ways to say, thank you, and your work is validated, and you can say that having people in your tap room every day and how busy it is on a weekend is proof positive of part of that.
But I think it's also nice, award or not, I think that recognition, which you get more recognition when you have a medal. I mean, I don't think anyone's denying that.
Right.
But I think, to me, it's more about the recognition. Like, I love seeing that our Cincinnati breweries are getting all of this recognition at all of these different competitions. Does it mean that all of the beers that get medals are beers that I really want to drink? No, not necessarily, just because the style might not be something that I am a fan of.
Right.
But I love that Cincinnati is being recognized for the great beers that we're making.
Yeah.
I don't need...
It's a positive. We don't need to go down the
right, absolutely. Let's see, what else was there? Because, again, we could talk for...
It's like somebody yelling about 2 parking spaces near the entrance of a building for pregnant moms. It's like, you know what? It's nice that there are spaces there.
Yeah.
You don't have to be angry that you can't park there.
Oh, no, you have to park one more space over.
Yeah.
Whatever. You can use the exercise. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Let's go.
There were a lot of label approvals or, previews or whatever you want to call them to go through. All the labels, I kind of do want to say... to Gnome's benefit. He says this all the time too, but just because there is a label for a product doesn't mean that it's a guarantee that product's going to be made. It just means, we've thought about this, so if we decide to move forward with whatever these products are, we already have a label that we can go ahead. It's been approved. We can just print it out, stick it on the bottle or the can, and move on with it, which we haven't had labels in a couple weeks, so there were some fun things in there, some things that have already been out in the markets. I always love seeing the label approval, so I'm glad that we finally got a chance to see a couple more.
It was good.
And the last note that I had before both a sip count, and I have 2 multiple choice questions for this.
Oh, my.
Because there weren't a lot of notes, because, again, a huge part of the episode was trying the beers and talking about them, which we don't want to repeat that. We want you to listen and see what he thought about them.
Yeah. That's
and
a
support
huge
the
part.
channel.
And it's interesting too, so go and watch.
It is, absolutely. Is the Get a Beer Cuvée coming soon? And as I said in the beginning of this episode, it is. I'm going to try to do it first.
Nice.
Will I record it and do something with it and put it on the Truth Beer Pod channel? I'll try to remember to.
Oh, that reminds me. We should probably comment, for anybody who's listened for a long time, we should probably comment about the baseball beers that we were going to do that we talked about for a couple of months. So our effort to collect the beers that we wanted to collect was fairly successful.
Yes.
The problem is the length of time it took us to collect the beers.
And to try to schedule when to get together
to
drink the
do
beers.
them. Those beers started to change and started to turn. So we punted on that idea.
Yeah.
And just decided to drink them at home.
And they were still okay, but none of them were what they were
No, none
when
of
they
them.
first came out. So
No. And I've had almost all of them.
yeah, same,
that I
same.
collected, and I was like, yeah, this isn't.
So
isn't the
maybe
same.
we can try to do something similar for. There aren't as many football beers as baseball beers.
Right.
We'll try to do something because I do want to do some sort of mini bracket. Kind of nothing near as crazy as the Oktoberfest Quest.
Right.
Which, my God, that's coming soon because the
Oktoberfest
beers
beers
are hitting. They're on the
hitting
shelves.
shelves.
They are absolutely out there.
Yeah.
So Gnome, more power to you. And we'll figure out something else to do because I think we were both excited about it and just, again, like Marcus said, getting the beers was fine, but working with both of our schedules and trying to figure stuff out, just time got away from us and the beers just weren't what we would want to present them as.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's that. We addressed it, and we learned. We're gonna learn from that and move on.
Absolutely.
What you got, Julia?
Sip count first?
Let's go.
All right, sip count first in this 1 hour and 30-minute episode. I have sniffs and I have sips.
Okay.
There were 45 sniffs,
Eee.
45 glass to nose,
Jesus.
olfactory experiences going on in this episode.
Oh my God.
There were only 16 sips
Okay.
because,
That's actually higher than an average weekly pint.
Yeah, it
although
really
it
is.
is 3 times the length of a usual weekly pint.
so I guess it all evens out. I
Sort
guess
of.
it still is about average-ish. No, it's still more.
Still more.
Still more, yeah. So that gives us a total of 61 countables, which is 122 ounces.
Okay.
Which is 7.62 pints, 625 pints, 7.625 in an hour and a half.
Okay.
That's still,
I feel
for
that's-
me, like it's
That's an accomplishable feat.
accomplishable, but it's still,
I mean, it's a lot.
it's a lot. It's still a lot.
Yeah, it's a
yes. And then I had 2 multiple choice questions.
Okay.
I did one, and then I'm like, you know what, this would be funny as well. So I threw in a second one.
Oh, you
for
got a funny one, huh?
I do.
Yeah,
All right,
first time
so-
for everything.
Hey. Wow.
Sorry, Julia.
No, it's fine. It's very accurate. I resemble that statement.
No, not at all.
First multiple choice question that I have. What was happening upstairs during this episode? Was it A, the Royal Rumble? Was it B, karaoke? Or was it C, horse riding? Yeah.
Julia, is it D?
Oh, God. One of these days we're going to get kicked out for that, you
Yeah.
know.
I bring the D.
All the time.
Did the mice decide to revolt?
Ooh, and they were screaming and trying to.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. You said they would come back.
They were like people trying to get into that. What was that? Copa America.
Copa America's good Lord,
Yeah.
people. Second multiple choice question that I
Let's
have
go.
before we wrap this up and head to the up, down, downtowns. Who knows where we're going? What is the proper way to spell wiener? Is it W-I-E-N-E-R? Is it W-E-I-N-E-R? Or is it W-E-E-E-E-E-N-E-R? Wiener.
Julia, is it D?
Oh, double D. Oh.
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 Whoa.
Whoa,
Oh.
hey.
Hey.
What you got there?
Is it D, Julia? All of the above, depending on context.
Ooh. That is a very good answer. That may be our winner.
Could be.
Could be. Do you have any other notes on either of the shows we talked about tonight before we wrap this up and head on out?
No, my notes look exactly like yours.
It's true.
So-
It's true. We think exactly the same when it comes to these shows.
Yep.
And I think that's pretty cool. Even we can still have very, very varied discussions
Correct.
about these, even though
I
the
believe
notes we
so.
take are the same. I love it. It's fantastic. If you've liked what we've done tonight, let us know by just telling someone, telling a friend. Like, share, subscribe, review would be awesome. But if you tell a friend about our show, be like Christine, who's not even in Ohio and is one of the most fantastic supporters that we have.
Thank you.
That is not a slight to anyone else that supports us. We love you all. But man, Christine, you are great. I love talking to you on the Weekly Pint. I'm glad you've been able to chime in the last few episodes. Go to our website. I'm just going to make this quick. truthbeerpod.com. Links to everything, our social media, our email address, our sister podcast, Cincy Beer Events, where we tell you all about the beer events happening in and around Cincinnati.
No way.
Very important. Follow that, subscribe to it, and find out how to Support our local breweries and bottle shops by going to the amazing events that they host and put on. And also links to become a Patreon subscriber where you can hear unedited or mostly unedited episodes of our shows. I cut out the silences when we go to get other beers or take a break for whatever reason. But every awkward pause, every terrible joke that we go, yeah, let's cut this from the public episode, you get it all. It is a lot of fun. You get anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour of extra content every single week. I try to get the Patreon episodes out to you on Thursday, so sometimes you're able to get them a day early as well. For the most part, I've been doing pretty good with that.
You have. Doing a great job, actually.
With that being said, if there's nothing else, Marco,
Julia,
what are you going to be doing next Tuesday?
we're going to do this. I think we're doing it here.
I think we're doing it here. Sounds good to me. Cheers.
See ya. Cheers.